But, in reality, there is no such thing as an exact science. I do not write for mathematicians, nor as a mathematician, but as an economist. Everyone gets the most which he can for his exertions. Previous to the time of Pascal, who would have thought of measuring doubt and belief? It is wholly a confusion of ideas to suppose that the economical use of fuel is equivalent to a diminished consumption. The very contrary is the truth. Our English economists have been living in a fool's paradise. You will perceive that economy, scientifically speaking, is a very contracted science. It is in fact a sort of vague mathematics which calculates the causes and effects of man's industry, and shows how it may be best applied. All acts of mathematical reasoning may be considered but as applications of a corresponding axiom of quantity. A vague desire and determination grew upon me. In matters of philosophy and science, authority has ever been the great opponent of truth. A despotic calm is usually the triumph of error. In the Republic of the Sciences, sedition and even anarchy are beneficial in the long run to the greatest happiness of the greatest number. If we lavishly and boldly push forward in the creation and distribution of our riches, it is hard to overestimate the pitch of beneficial influence to which we may attain in the present. But the maintenance of such a position is physically impossible. We have to make the momentous choice between brief greatness and longer continued mediocrity. Whatever is true of a thing is true of its like. In a certain sense, all knowledge is inductive. We can only learn the laws and relations of things in nature by observing those things. But the knowledge gained from the senses is knowledge only of particular facts, and we require some process of reasoning by which we may collect out of the facts the laws obeyed by them. Experience gives us the materials of knowledge, induction digests those materials, and yields us general knowledge. When we possess such knowledge, in the form of general propositions and natural laws, we can usefully apply the reverse process of deduction to ascertain the exact information required at any moment. In its ultimate foundation, then, all knowledge is inductive, in the sense that it is derived by a certain inductive reasoning from the facts of experience. Q, which would include quantity of space or time or force, in fact almost any kind of quantity. Should my notion be true, a vast mass of technicalities may be swept from our logical text books, and yet the small remaining part of logical doctrine will prove far more useful than all the learning of the schoolmen. To me it is far more pleasant to agree than to differ, but it is impossible that one who has any regard for truth can long avoid protesting against doctrines which seem to him to be erroneous. There is ever a tendency of the most hurtful kind to allow opinions to crystallize into creeds. At school and college the success in the classes was the only indication of my powers. All else that I intended or did was within or carefully hidden. The reserved character, as I have often thought, is not pleasant nor lovely. But is it not necessary to one such as I? When quite young I can remember I had no thought or wish of surpassing others. I was rather taken with a liking of little arts and bits of learning. To allow commerce to proceed until the source of civilization is weakened and overturned is like killing the goose to get the golden egg. Is the immediate creation of material wealth to be our only object? By induction we gain no certain knowledge, but by observation, and the inverse use of deductive reasoning, we estimate the probability that an event which has occurred was preceded by conditions of specified character, or that such conditions will be followed by the event. I have no objection to use the words cause and causation, provided they are never allowed to lead us to imagine that our knowledge of nature can attain to certainty. We can never recur too often to the truth that our knowledge of the laws and future events of the external world are only probable. I consider that interest is determined by the increment of produce which it enables a laborer to obtain, and is altogether independent of the total return which he receives for this labor.